selling goods with well-worn banknotes. Today, they are just as likely to use smartphones. UPI is now the default payment option for most Indians, from small ticket purchases at roadside shops, to settling utility bills, to paying at restaurants, to even IPO stock purchases and mutual fund payments. This change has had no parallel in history anywhere in the world. In 2023, Bharat entered the elite space club as the Chandrayaan-3 landed on the moon's south pole, making India the very first country to do so. 10 years ago,
it's a broken record. I hear this
the
all the time in the United
patchwork of India's
States. The
indirect
same
tax
thing.
structure. Today, the goods and services tax, the GST, has
God.
dramatically altered this by consolidating a web of...
Ronnie Ward, from the Didmus section of the Flatbush neighborhood, Brooklyn in the city of New York. If I just close my eyes, I can hear this same talk here in the United States, like I could just hear it. I've heard it. I don't even need to. I could almost say what they're going to say next, for God's sakes. But the thing that I've noticed is that even the manner in which the person's speaking, what's very obvious to me, this person's come along a long way. Well, they're not reading from notes, They're not reading that off a piece of paper, at least. So I think they've, had a lot of practice in their delivery and they're Well, considering I think most of the people I'm familiar with or noticed is they learn their skills at TED Talks in the United States. I don't know if they have those I don't know where they have them. I know they have some in Canada, United States. I don't know, but they call them TEDx. Yeah. TEDx, TED Talks. 15-minute speeches. There's a whole formula for doing it, actually. That's what it reminds me of. The content, sort of, but it's shipped right out of TED Talks. It's right out of the United States. It's where it's from. Yeah. It's just, I'm sure it's really annoying for whoever who else to be in this audience. It must be. I hope they're all there because they want to be. I don't know why they would, but, it's problematic. I don't know who would, maybe this is the Bharat version of TED Talks, perhaps. I don't know, but that's what it reminds me of. I've heard this, it's formulaic, I like to say. Yeah, it's really formulaic, that's right.
Levies into a single tax. India's infrastructure creation has become visible symbols of transformation, whether it is sports.
It looks just like the meetings they've had in Abu Dhabi. It looks just like meetings I've recently seen in the Gulf States region. The white chairs and everything. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know, my goodness. Oh gosh, what the heck is going on? That's all I want to know. What's going on? Gosh. Yeah. What the heck? I couldn't believe that shot they just had pulling back and all these white chairs. I was like, where is this at? I know it looks so familiar. Oh my gosh.
Airports, highways, they've all turned India's image of a country with creaky roads into highway hotspots. This is acting as a powerful multiplier for the broader economy. It's connecting the hinterland.
Does this person speaking aware of the climate and the smog and the pollution problems? I can ask the same question of the robot building, whatever going on in the United States. Do they have any concept of what's going on? It's yeah. I think the honest answer is no, I don't think they are aware. I don't think they are. I really decided that they're just not tuned in at all. They're just tuned in on what they're doing. Not because they don't against something. No, I just think they're just unaware, or everybody just gets their. I think a lot of people just get their news or information from one source or whatever it is. One thing. At least I think in the United States that nobody's getting their information from newspapers that you pick up. No, not that. It's all on your phone. I think there's too many people just on one feed even. Whatever. It's all whatever you pick. At least in the United States, it's pretty simple. There's one news outlet that's on your phone, whatever. You know what that is. Well, that's going to be conservative and Trump and, and really radical, crazy stuff too. They really are. Or it's going to be everybody else. Because that's how it works in the United States. ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, NPR, PBS. Just go down the list, Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, at least you know the one place where you can go to hear contrarian other point of view. But you got to be careful because you can get way too crazy there as well. But, oh boy, I tell you what. What happened? What was this health crisis in 2020? I don't call it a pandemic anymore. No, I don't. No. I just say a health crisis. What happened with this disruptive force? This disruptive force in this health emergency and isolation trade. It was a doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of the lonely blues. I'm just hanging at my house, learning how to zoom around the internet, talking to my friends in little bitty boxes like around holiday squares. Oh, baby, oh, yeah. Yeah, might as well. Might as well. It's still going on, I think. But I just think that it's not I think it's like malware, or some kind of malware thing, Your computer's supposed to be able to get malware, a computer virus. Well, maybe that's all it was a computer virus. And it somehow got into our brain or head. Or I don't know. It's not to be made light of. No, there's a lot of serious problems all around the world. It's obvious. But I'm like, the leaders of sovereign nations have to do something about this. Not Antonio Guterres, not UNESCO, not WHO, not the UN. As far as I can tell, the UN's meeting in Switzerland. They don't think they even meet in New York at all. I don't think so. I don't think they do. I'm in New York City. I've been by the UN building. I have. It just doesn't look like a place that there's anybody meeting at. Not to me, it doesn't. No. I've seen the High Commission on Human Rights meet. Well, I know that room's not in New York. No, that's in Switzerland. I know that for a fact. Because there is no room like that at the UN. No, they don't have that. No, the UN's supposed to be where the General Assembly meets, the big hall, and the Security Council has a room. That's it. All the rest is administration in the high-rise. But the other places, there's always been a co-place in Switzerland, and there's someone based out of Rome, too. I forgot who it was. And then there's UNESCO. Well, I can't even get my head around that. It's almost like UNESCO is grown so big and so global that it eclipses all of the UN. Like, I don't know. They have more oh my gosh. It's just, if I was gonna just sort of say to myself, okay, abracadabra, alakazam, what's it, wish I may, wish I might, this wish I wish tonight, it would be for the Security Council to meet, 5 of them, and all 5 members of the Security Council fire Antonio Guterres, because they can, then take with him all the people of all those UN things, every one of them, all of them, just out. Go back home to your countries, if they'll have you. Yeah, the Security Council to take charge of the United Nations, to get them to stop spinning climate change and all these things. Well, it's the only organization that has a truly global reach today, and it was never intended to. Ever. Never. Ever, ever, never. And it is the 5 members of the Security Council. They must not, they have the sole responsibility to select who gets nominated, period. The General Assembly doesn't. No, they have to take whoever gets nominated. And then they either vote it up or down. They could say no. They could do that. It just would go back to the Security Council then. That would be fine, no problem. But they can fire Gutierrez anytime they want, which ends him and everybody under him. Because everybody under him is from him. They all work for the General Secretary, the office of the Secretariat. Yeah. That would put an end to all the global foxtrotting around and all these meetings. And the High Commissioner on Human Rights, they meet every single day, Monday through Friday, I've noticed. Every day in Switzerland. What the heck do they have to talk about every day? They don't have any authority over anything. They can't order anybody to do anything at all. But they still meet every day. I started watching some of it. If they stream it, boy, you can watch about 10 minutes or so of that, and you're like, what the heck? Because they can't make any decisions. It's just, we receive a report and a report and a report and a report. Oh my gosh. I just am like, well, it made a lot of sense when I saw that. But I have to say, because I live in New York City, I just decided, well, I'll just take a walk and walk over by the United Nations one evening. I was at whatever. So I did. And I was like, well, nothing like putting your eyeballs right on it and looking, you know. I was like, what is that? What? Yeah. Yeah. If we were out somewhere, you'd think that there were tumbleweeds blowing down the street. I mean, it's just, I saw some crazy tour guide with a half dozen people. I don't know where they were from. They were not from New York. I mean, they were, international travelers, but some guy was giving him a tour, like, from the street, saying, over there's the United Nations. Like, it was just, I saw it myself, because I live here. But that was really helpful, because at least I was like, oh, okay, they're not meeting here at all. So I think no matter what I see on television or feed, I just am like, that's not happening in New York City. No, it's not. I just not. I don't. It can't be really. I don't think it's possible. I just don't think so. I don't know where, but they're not here. The flags of the I like to say not United Nations. Well, they should call it Nations United. Yeah. Nations united in solidarity and peace, together and support and whatever, encouragement kind of a thing. Yeah. When you say United Nations, it's like, no, they're not united. They're not united at all. They never were meant to be united. No, and not at all. Not when you have a 5-member Security Council and one of those veto. I'm just going to say, it's just little me, whatever, but well, if you had the Office of the Secretariat and all these globalist organizations, WHO, UNESCO, UNRWA, that thing, all of that, well, if they would just shut up and stop meeting and go home and do work where they are at, well, that would really help a lot. Yeah, because it's sort of odd to me. Oh, here I am. Oh, here I am. Oh, I forgot. Here I am. I'm in the little bubble. It's me. I feel like Glenda. Glenda, the good witch of the north in the bubble. Yeah. Well, Well, I live in the United States. I've been a political kind of junkie, follow that stuff my whole life. Yeah. I saw Apollo go to the moon, Nixon, China, and everything, all that stuff. But I can tell you this much. I mean, any good that's come in the world at all has always been because sovereign nations, heads of state and prime ministers, doing their deals and work. That's the only thing that's ever worked. One cannot look to the United Nations like some I've heard, oh, the five power, the veto, and we need to change and all that. It's like, oh gosh, just go home. Help somebody in your place, whatever, just go home. Obviously, you have no idea how the United Nations is supposed to function, and it's never worked. It won't matter. It wouldn't matter. Just leave it the way it is and stop thinking that it can do something. Well, it can only do what people are willing to diplomatically and nicely, and it takes a long time to get through things at the United Nations. Well, I'll tell you this. The United Nations does not have the authority to tax anybody, and they do not have the authority or the ability to create armies or tank or anything. They don't have any revenue generating power of any kind, which is correct, because whatever work they do is supposed to be charitable, if you will. Not charity, but charitable, egalitarian, because they're supposed to be a safe place for things to come to help those who are losing out and are in the short end, to help out with the inequities and imbalances, and courting the goodwill of places that do have means, and helping to say, well, don't you think we should help and like be a good broker, like the Pope or something, like that, or religious leaders, people. That's what they're supposed to be. I think there's a lot of people running around thinking that globalism or globalist, the globalist agenda, has something to do with peace. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Grow apple peas and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. Yeah, it's a song for Coca-Cola from back in the day, but, well, I think there's just too many people now that have been so frustrated, whatever, and I think they've just convinced themselves that if we don't do it, it's our last stand for the globe and the world. Well, if we don't do it in the United Nations, it'll never get done, and it's so terrible, and yeah. Yeah? Okay, I don't disagree that things are bad. And I don't believe they just happened in the past 4 years either. No, they didn't. Well, some of the best people that there are, supposedly, for diplomacy and all this stuff, they've just sort of walked off the deck, actually. Yeah, they abandoned ship. They abandoned the ship that is not the ship of state. No, that's sovereign nations. They abandoned the whole premise behind the Nations United, allowing themselves to think that things are going to get solved. Prime Minister Modi, he gets out and goes and meets people and talks to them, and they do deals and planes and trains and Brexit and Brexit. Yeah, great. I don't have to disagree with any. They're out doing stuff. Well, that's how it's always worked. Always. If anything, the United Nations served as a place where, it's only a place for the ambassadors to the UN. That's it. Every country, nobody has an embassy at the UN. They're called missions. My country has a mission. The ambassador or the head of mission to the United Nations on behalf of country C. Well, they're not even a decision maker in their own country. No, the prime minister, whatever it is. Well, then those countries all have foreign ministers. Well, that's a person appointed or works directly for the sovereign of the state. I mean, that's the real diplomacy team. Not that. Well, it's important. It's another. It's supposed to be just another neutral place where people can be comfortable and speak and talk and, all that stuff. Schmoozing, yeah. Well, I don't know. That's gone. That's gone. That doesn't happen. I'm not saying blame it on Antonio Guterres. No, not at all. I don't even know the man. He speaks. Well, he's fiery. I think that's good. I like hearing him talk and stuff. Of course, but this UNESCO thing, that's just, I just still am like, well, that's just, I just don't know about that. I'm not saying they're rogue or, I know I'm not, but it's just really odd. And then, like I said, the High Commissioner on Human Rights, well, they meet in this room that looks like, I'm just thinking, you all are sitting here in this room, this place, and you're doing this 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and all this violence and things. Well, why don't you just suspend the regular agenda and talk about human rights and the abuses and the things that are going on? And why don't you spend some time just put everything else on the table and start talking about actual humanitarian crisis or something? I mean, well, they don't even talk about that there. I think they have no idea, actually. I think they can't even listen to themselves. I see it everywhere myself. Here in the United States. That's every day in the United States House of Representatives in Washington. In the House of Representatives, the lower house, the House of the People. Oh, that's every day. That's every day I see it. Every day. Every day. Oh, all the time. That's all they do is argue and fight. In a polite kind of way, but not really. That's it. For almost 2 years. Even more for before that. So I'm used to that. So they're more dignified at the High Commissioner. They are. They're more polite, they are, but they have no authority to even do anything. I just heard on one of these broadcasts, 6 million people a year die from bad air. There's something like 25,000 people die every day from starvation. 25,000 every day. Today was 25,000 the 19th. Tomorrow will be 50, 75, 100, 120. Yeah, racking it up. 25,000 a day at a clip are dying from starvation. Hunger. Period. Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? Well, I know this. I've seen too many. There's none of these people participating in these conversations mean-spirited or diabolical or wants to hurt anybody. No, there's a phenomenon taking place. There is, actually. No, it's a very well-reasoned out happening. Yeah, there is. Yeah. But I think that's what really... I think that's where the... well, you have to ask yourself, where's the imbalance at? Where's the imbalance, or where's the rubbing point, or where's something seem out of step, or like that kind of an idea. That's it. Well, it can't ever be the elected leader of a sovereign nation. They can't ever. It's never their fault, because they're serving their nation, and it can't be. They're responsible to the people of their country, period. That's all they should be, period. And they should advocate strongly for their country, of course, because that's the people who are doing it. But, boy, just a lot of wasted time and resources. Meanwhile, people are dying at 25,000 a clip and more. And what? I'm like, what? I think you could show evidence of that. Actual people dying. You could, I think. I think some people just look at it like, Okay, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. And we thank you for being. We got to get back on the agenda, and they just keep moving. I don't know. That's the phenomenon. I don't think there is an explanation. I don't think there is. I think that's important to just say, oh, here's an observation about what I see, whatever. Okay, I see. All right, an observation. But not why. No, because I think that it's a dynamism. It's a phenomenon that's happening. I've convinced myself of that. I really have. I have convinced myself of it. Well, I'm glad that I have, actually. Well, because it helps me have clarity of thought. Now I can say to myself, okay, Ronnie, well, you said that you think that this is really what it is now. Okay, fine. Well, okay, you can't stop there. Well, you hold this belief about it. Well, you better keep looking and checking out and, well, to see if that holds up or not or whatever. Yeah, you can't just come to a conclusion and say, oh, that's it. No, you don't get to be like the cartoons here in the United States. Looney Tune cartoons, they called it. Yeah, at the end of the show, there was always a Porky the Pig, and he'd go, that's all, folks. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think the people that did those cartoons, I think they saw what might be coming one day. They must have, because it's hilarious. You have to have a humor. You got to be lighthearted about it. You have to, because it's so serious. That's what I have to do. Well, I don't know. I've been going on for 26 minutes, so I think I better leave this agenda alone right now and get back to, just get back to whatever I'm doing, Watching another engaging program on YouTube. It's fantastic. Nothing like getting opinions literally from around the world. Well, it's very helpful. Of course. That is the wonderfulness about the internet and technology and stuff. I mean, just think about it. I heard somebody from, I don't know which country he was from. He was talking about Africa, sort of whatever, and like 70% of people living in nations all across Africa, 70% have never heard a telephone ring. Meaning, never even had a lines for phone ringing. 70% of people never heard a phone ring. Oh, I don't know. I doubt there's very many that even have cellular service. Well, think about how different their world is compared to what's going on when people are seeing these technologies and looking at these things. They have no concept. They've never seen it. I mean, well, I tell you what, that's what makes Western powers or big countries go into places, be it Africa or India, South America, wherever, Asia, the nerve, how outrageous to go anywhere and be lobbying or working for warmongering or war. Yeah, I think it's really outrageous. I think if they just stop it, the people who sell the arms, well, wherever that manufacturing base is, because I know where it's not, yeah. Good luck. Oh, good luck with that. They're private corporations, even in the places where they are. Oh, yeah, good luck stopping that. Good luck. But I think it needs to be. I do. Dwight D. Eisenhower served as President of the United States from 1952 to 1960. And of course, before that, he had served as Supreme Allied Commander during World War II in the European theater. He did. Well, he was the president in 1952. He left highly decorated and went and had a teaching. He was the president of a big college here in the United States. Great. Wonderful thing, until 52 came along. Well, both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party both went to Eisenhower and said, General Eisenhower, will you run for president? Well, we know you're going to do right by what you think's right, because you commanded forces for the world and helped with that. So, but do you think you could be up to trying to help him fix this problem we have in the United States Congress or whatever? Yeah, we gotta. Do you think you could help? He did. I mean, he had an opponent, but they ran all these commercials. I like Ike. I like Ike. Everybody liked Ike. Everybody did. It didn't matter. It was I like Ike. That's all it was. Not Eisenhower, not anything. Just I like Ike. That was the whole thing. These little stick cartoon things. I like Ike. I like Ike. Yeah. Well, he won. Really big, actually. He did. Well, one of the first things he did very soon was they passed these laws that said the money in the United States, coins and the bills, hundreds of, they passed a law that says, henceforth from this point forward, you're going to put the words on all the money, coins, and everything, in God we trust. But that's when they put it on the money. After Dwight Eisenhower came. I guess he thought that they needed to be a little more focused on higher power things. Maybe they'd stop arguing, so he put it right on the money so they'd hopefully see it. In God we trust. Not this bill and money. No, not the money. No, in God we trust. That's why I put it on there. So they wouldn't think they were relying on the money. As a constant sort of reminder, I think. There's some story about, it's because the Chinese or this or atheism or Ku Klux Klan or whatever. No, I don't think so. No. Dwight Eisenhower wouldn't be involved with that. No, it's printed on the money. So that you understand that it doesn't have any value. It doesn't. It's traded every day, currencies. Value goes up and down every day. It can't have any value. No, it was a message to say, we don't worship money, or money's not important than people or God, or that kind of a thing. In God we trust. It's on there still today. Even on all the coins, they stamp it right on there. They do. And now what's so funny, though? Well, it's how it is in America. I can't tell you how many really conservative, Christian conservative, just really tough thing, radical in a lot of ways, yeah. What they do now? They say, look at this money. It's all in God we trust. Yes, we need Jesus and God in the thing, and it's on the money. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they just they're wrecking what Eisenhower and the Congress had done. They put it on there not because we worship God and whatever, but to remind us that people are more important than money, that's all. Well, you can't put that on there. People are more important than money? Well, you can't put that on your money. Well, I think if you put an S in it, gods, I think that could cover lots of places who have it could. It says God, and well, the money already says we the people and all these other things on it. That's not help too well. Well, anyway, now I'm to 33 minutes. Well, I don't know. This Rising Bharat, it just really struck a whole thing with me. Can't listen to it very long at all. So, well, let's just wind up here, just a little bit at the end. Yeah.
And with the metropolises, it's radically cutting down logistics costs and increasing India's competitiveness. Now, while there is plenty for India to be
there he is standing here on the corner, and there he is real big right there next. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Land of the Giants. Did I just hear him say metropolises or metropolisms or something? I can't believe it. I've heard, I can't believe you just said that. I was like, oh my gosh, I've heard that before too.
Absolutely delighted about. There are still areas that we need to be alert and alive to. We should be acutely aware of the need to keep striving, to keep improving, keep pushing.
If you just pause a moment and say, okay, they're auditioning for debate team, and say, okay, all right, well, whatever, but I don't think they are, but it sounds like it.
Every boundary that holds us back.
Boundary and back, alert. I mean, all the alliteration. It's a stylistic thing. It's formulaic.
So, ladies and gentlemen, over the next 30 sessions spread across the next 2 days, you will get a chance firsthand to hear from some of the finest political leaders, sportspersons, industry captains, entrepreneurs, intellectuals, and artists. The people whose intellect and energy and dynamism is powering Bharat's rise. And later tomorrow, we will welcome in our midst
Hindu
the captain
times,
of this ship,
the
man who is steering India in this remarkable period in our history, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. May I now invite my colleague Avantika Singh to take us through this morning's Power Pack sessions.
You know what? It's very unfortunate. It's really, I think it's outrageous what's going on here. It's my experience in the United States. It is. I mean, so I know, I look, you just see it on the faces of people in the audience. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, because I've seen it in the United States, I have in other places too. I just think it's denigrating, it's belittling. It puts people in a very difficult state of mind. There's just no good to come out of this in any way, shape, or form at all, because it's like it's under duress. It's just, yeah. Well, that's how I see it, but you can just look when the cameras are turned on the audience, you can just see it in their faces. They're blank. They're just like blank. Like, just blank in the face, no expression of any kind. Yeah, well, that's a really creepy thing. Well, there's only so many examples of that, and it's always people who have been exposed to mass violence or, mass violence, just shelling and warring and bombing. Yeah. But boy, that shouldn't be a look on somebody's face from a conference. Or no. Well, anyway, it upsets me because I've just seen too many examples of this just leading to a place that's just really dark and there's no joy. Yeah, I've just seen it too many times. So it does make me upset. Sad, actually. But I'm also sad for this person. Because I know this much. I'm not so sure that they're there because they want to. I don't know. And I know people in the audience, probably, they're not sitting there because I think that who would sign up for this or who would stay. I mean, I don't think so. Well, then it raises the question then. Well, if it's obvious that either the presenter nor the folks in the audience are really enthralled or, then you have to say to yourself, well, who or what is the circumstance that's behind this bringing this together then? Like, that's the question then. Well, how of this coming about this thing? Because it's obvious to me that the audience doesn't want to be there. I can't say this person really wants to. I'm not so certain they do. Well, you can't blame it on the presenter. I think they have a job to do. I'm sure of it. They have a job to do. Yeah, and well, I think the people in the audience, they just don't look like kind of people that would hang around to listen to this stuff unless they really felt like they couldn't leave for whatever the reason. I'm not saying prisoner, I'm saying social pressure, whatever it is. I mean, whatever. Well, that's what I think about. So I just think about how sad it is for everybody involved. Yeah. And since they all seem to be so sad, well, why don't they just stop then and not be sad and talk, just have a conversation or something. Well, I think it's not complicated. I do say that it's complex, though, because I think there's a lot going on in this circumstance here that maybe nobody could even be aware of. But that still doesn't... We don't have to have the answer why we're doing what we're doing. Just how are we doing it, and how might we do it differently, and yeah, don't waste any time on the why of anything, because I don't think you can really know that. I can't even say why I did what I did 15 minutes ago. So anyway, well, it was good to see this. Yeah. I think it's, well, Vantage. Yeah, Vantage. Oh yeah, well, Vantage, first post. Oh my gosh, Pilkey Sharma. Yeah, my goodness. Well, that's why I'm looking at this, because I'm a regular viewer, participant in First Post. Yeah. Yes. For almost a whole year. A long time, yeah. It's great. Well, that's why I'm here. It says First Post. I mean, well, that's why I'm here looking at this. Well, hey, First Post. All the great people doing First Post from wherever they are around the world. You got an avid viewer in New York City. Yes, it's great. Well, thanks a lot. Ronnie Ward from the Ditma section of the Flatbush neighborhood, Brooklyn, in the city of New York. Tuesday, the 19th day of March, 2024.